Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're heading over to the South Caucasus. We're going to take a fascinating look at Azerbaijan. Specifically, we'll check out its weather forecast for the next 10 days or so. That's July 19th to the 28th, 2025. But we'll also, unpack how this fits into the bigger picture of climate change in the region. We're drawing on meteorological reports and some long-term climate analyses. Our mission really is to give you a shortcut to understanding what's happening right now and those critical long-term shifts. All right, let's jump right in. Looking at the forecast for Azerbaijan, what's the most striking thing we should be aware of? Is it just flat-out heat, or is there more going on?
Well, it is hot, no doubt about that. What's fascinating here is, Baku will see highs between maybe 30 to 38 Celsius. That's roughly 86 to 100 Fahrenheit. And the lowland areas, even hotter, like 36 to 41 Celsius.
Wow, okay.
But the real story for you, the listener, is probably the real feel temperature. Because the humidity is high, that real feel often pushes things into the 34 to 40 Celsius range. That's 93 up to 105 Fahrenheit.
But the humidity factor.
Exactly. It's why you can be technically in 30 degrees but feel like you're just baking, That humidity traps the heat right on your skin. So it's really crucial to understand the actual heat stress. It bumps up the risk for things like heat exhaustion. And add to that a very high UV index of 10. That means the sun's rays are incredibly strong, like peak summer exposure. You really need good sun protection.
Okay, so intense heat, high real feel, strong UV. Got it. But you mentioned July is generally dry. Is there any, hidden volatility? What about any chance of rain or storms?
Right. If we zoom out a bit, July is typically very dry in Azerbaijan, minimal rainfall usually. However, the nuance here is that you can still get these localized, pretty intense thunderstorms, sometimes with strong winds, even hail.
Oh, really? Even in the dry season?
Yeah. Particularly in the mountainous areas, they can be brief but pack a punch with heavy downpours. And because the ground is so parched, it doesn't absorb water well, so that can lead to flash floods pretty quickly. Water just runs off.
Right. Makes sense. The ground can't soak it up.
Exactly. And you've also got strong winds as a consistent risk, maybe gusts up to 25 mph. In these dry, hot conditions, that just ramps up the fire danger too.
So yeah, definitely some volatility hidden in there despite the overall dryness. Okay, let's talk about the Caspian Sea. It must play a huge role, right? What's its immediate impact and what's the deeper trend happening there?
Oh, absolutely. The Caspian Sea is critical. For this period, the water will be warm around 24 Celsius, 75 Fahrenheit. Nice for swimming, I guess. But its role is kind of twofold. It does moderate coastal temperatures a bit, keeps them from getting quite as extreme as inland. But it also pumps a lot of moisture into the air, contributing significantly to that high humidity we talked about, the stuff driving up the real feel.
So it helps and hinders in a way?
Precisely. But here's where it gets, really interesting and frankly alarming. There's a major trend. The Caspian is warming up and it's shrinking.
Shrinking?
Yeah. The sea surface hit 30 Celsius back in 2021. That was a huge jump from just 10 years earlier, in 2011. Combine that warming with less water flowing in from rivers, and forecasts predict a potential multi-year crisis, even a severe ecological crisis.
Well, what does that actually mean, an ecological crisis there?
Well, think about it. The fishing industry could face collapse as fish struggle with the warmer water and changing salinity. Water security for communities along the coast is threatened. You end up with this vast saltwater body that's becoming less usable right next to shrinking freshwater resources. It's a huge problem.
A multi-year crisis.
Yeah.
That sounds incredibly serious. So pulling this all together, what does this mean for Azerbaijan's broader climate change story? What are the bigger impacts they're seeing, and what are they doing about it?
Well, Azerbaijan's already seen its average temperature go up by about 1.3 degrees Celsius.
That's significant.
It is, and it's leading to more frequent, more intense heat waves. Plus, the cost from extreme weather events is already substantial, maybe around $70 to $80 million a year. And here's a real challenge. It's a country facing severe water scarcity, and it's prone to floods, like we just discussed with the flash floods.
So both problems at once. Too little water overall, but sometimes too much all at once.
Exactly. It's like climate change is turning up the volume on these existing vulnerabilities, these contradictions. It impacts agriculture, water resources, coastal areas. And the really critical question becomes, how does a country that's, heavily reliant on its oil and gas economy, a major source of emissions itself, tackle these huge climate challenges?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Huh.
And speaking of the global stage, they're hosting COP29, the big UN climate conference, right?
Yes, that's right. Hosting COP29 definitely puts Azerbaijan in the spotlight. They have made commitments a 40% cut in greenhouse gas emissions by 2050, though it's conditional on getting international support. And their national adaptation plan is focusing on those key vulnerable areas: agriculture, water, and the coastal zones, like around the Caspian. It suggests they're trying to use this global platform strategically, to get support for their climate goals.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? It really means being ready for intense heat, first off. Understanding that real field number is key. And also recognizing these critical, interconnected environmental shifts happening there. From staying hydrated and watching out for those sudden local storms, to understanding the bigger picture, like the shrinking Caspian Sea. It shows how today's weather is just deeply tangled up with these long-term climate patterns.
Yeah, this deep dive into Azerbaijan really does highlight that complex dance between the immediate weather and the slow burn of climate change. It leaves us with a provocative thought, maybe. Given Azerbaijan's unique spot, an oil-rich nation, yet climate vulnerable, and now hosting COP29, what can the rest of the world learn from their balancing act between development, national interest, and the urgent need for climate action?